Hi guys. So I'm not feeling the greatest today, but I wanted to leave a writing lesson. So these are Peepgrass's rules for dialogue. Um, I have other reading and other writing that I have for dialogue, but these are my general guidelines. So you should always have a point. Don't write if I can't look at it and tell what your point is, then it's not good dialogue. There's no point. Um, and that goes to my rule number 2, avoid talking heads. So this means your writing is carefully chosen and we understand who is talking at all times. So that can mean that you will have some people talking and you won't explain who's talking. But I would have a general guideline of never going back and forth between a couple characters. And it usually you can only do this with 2 characters. Never go back and forth more than about 4 or 5 times without reestablishing some other aspect of the writing, like who's talking, what they're doing, etc. So an example of what not to do. So this is a few things. So hey, yeah, right. So you can ask your mom, okay, I guess, but she won't say yes. So that's an example of some dialogue where there are talking heads going on. And again, you could get away with it, but there's something else that's very, very wrong with this dialogue. And that is paragraphing. Ugh. Okay, you cannot put someone talking on the same paragraph. This is a different person, and this is a different person. Do not put them on the same paragraph line. Don't make me hate you when you write. Okay? This is bad, bad, bad. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Number 4, rule number 4, the dialogue needs to move the story forward. Several ways to do this are your dialogue should say something about the character. It should say something about the action or setting. And make sure that it doesn't go on for too long, unless you're interspersing it with actual descriptions of what's happening. Number 5, it should be natural. So what do I mean by natural dialogue? I mean it contains the regular stuff that we talk. So regular stuff that we talk. That's not the greatest English. The regular things that happen when we talk. So, for example, you're talking over yourself and others. You might have dangling ideas. So, when I speak to you, I don't always finish my sentences. Let's be honest here. And neither do you. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. It just happens. Interrupting each other. So the way that you indicate this in your writing is through the use of ellipses, or say someone interrupts, you would use maybe a tire. I can't remember what it is in English. And last but not least, your dialogue needs to be interesting. Interesting dialogue is the point. If your story is not interesting, nobody cares. Okay, so what does this look like in action? So let's go back to this last example that I did. Okay, hey, yeah, right. So you can ask your mom, okay, I guess, but she won't say yes. So what I did is I took this out and I said, hey, yeah, right. Trennan looked at the group in disbelief. They were idiots for even suggesting a thing. So here, because I've added some description to my writing, I now know something about what Trennan is thinking, and I know something about him, and I know about something about him in relation to the group. But they were optimistic idiots. So you'll ask your mum, Rowan said in a blur of motion. He was always in a blur of motion, is what had landed them in this pickle to begin with. Okay, I guess we're so dead. Deadpan shrieked Kanth, eating his off-brown lays casually as though the world weren't ending. Here, when I chose this, you can see that I included those interruptions. And I included contrasts. So one of the things too that you can do to make your writing more entertaining, and that's not just for dialogue, is that yes, they're talking as though the world is ending, but Srikanth is actually eating random stuff. So you don't always want your characters to do everything that you want to do. That move the story forward, because that makes it more interesting for your reader. She won't say yes. Trenin was certain and dead. Okay, so why does this work as a piece of writing? Okay, it moves the story. It doesn't give away the story, but it moves the story forward. It tells you something about each of the characters, and it tells you something about the problem. The problem is bad enough that there's a few of them that think they're dead, and there's a few of them that are optimistic, and there's a few of them that are eating chips. So, which kind of puts all of them in opposition to one another. So that is kind of an example of how you would do an effective piece of dialogue. Peepgrass out.